Okay, thanks. Hi everyone, welcome back to Deep Tech Forum. And today we are entering the session of the Deep Tech Ventures elevator pitch. Every project will be pitching for not more than 5 minutes, followed by 1 to 2 minutes of question and answers from our investors panel and judge panel. And without further ado, we will start with Ksenia.
Hi everyone, let me share my screen. And you should see by now, my name is Ksenia. I'm co-founder of Mission Space. My colleagues just told you a lot about space weather and the background of it. So we're building a global predictive space weather system. Just some of the information about the background. I'm going to be talking and bringing you back to the day that the sun brought darkness, to the March 13th of 1989, to the province of Quebec in Canada, where the city experienced a 12-hour clinical death. 9 million people were left without electricity. A $10 million transformer was permanently damaged. Airports, railways, and bridges were shut down for hours. So that 2-minute geomagnetic storm resulted in 28 million of economic losses, which would nowadays translate to about 2.4 to 3.4 trillion. Since then, several governments have listed severe space weather as one of the highest priority natural hazards. We have dramatically increased our dependence on technology and the internet, but haven't really made a major step towards preventing incidents like Quebec from happening. So my team is asking, is it now the time to widely acknowledge that space weather forecasting matters more than we used to think? Different systems are exposed to varying levels of risk depending on their technical design, location, and the type of space weather that can affect them. Some of the top industries affected are aviation, where disrupted avionics systems are present, passenger radiation exposure, as well as disrupted high-frequency communications, power system experience, power blackouts, as well as grid collapse, supply chain experiences, loss of GNSS navigation, loss of long-distance radio, and all of that is the result of severe space weather events. As per current solution, most of the existing space weather satellites have been launched more than 15 years ago. They were launched by different agencies and are operating well beyond their anticipated lifespans. They are expected to fail before the replacement is launched. What we are offering is a global predictive space weather system that is designed to be used as a decision support tool to detect and predict space weather events for any affected industry. In terms of our business model, we have the payload of custom sensor for advanced space weather monitoring, as well as the software with a cloud platform with space weather data and hazard warning system. So the space weather data distribution could be useful to space agencies, government institutions, research centers, insurance companies, and the subscription-based warning system with actionable alerts could be useful for energy companies, airlines, satellite operators, and railway operators too. This is the innovation that we have, the Universal Semiconductor Spectrometer that was designed by mission space engineers themselves, and it is responsible for the advanced measurement of critical space weather parameters such as the geophysical data, as well as high energy particles of protons and electrons. In the future, we plan to have around the globe forecast system with a full constellation of 24 nanosatellites on low Earth orbit with galactic ray detectors on each board. And this unique system will provide real-time high energy particle geophysics data and real-time prediction of solar plasma arrival and intensity. Overall, our space weather system will help insurance companies saving millions on premiums by integrating our solution. Power grid operators will be able to flag the risk of blackouts and power outages. Airlines can cut the losses on rerouting flights on polar routes, and satellite operators can be advised of potential degradation or failures in the services they provide. This is a round announced. We need 300,000 euros to receive lab test certification, build and launch 2 hosted payloads, and perform our in-orbit demonstration. We're actively expanding our network and collaborating with leading global space institutions and agencies such as DTU Denmark Technical University, the Singapore Space and Technology Accelerator, the University of Coimbra, and are supported by our development and investment agency of Latvia. So far, we have our payload prototype built, partner with leading European research centers, gather some MOUs and letters of intent, and are looking for flight heritage in late 2021 and beta test in early 2022. This is our awesome team. We have both the digital innovators and people who have more than 70 years combined of experience in design of satellite devices. So we also have Sergey Filipichev, who developed and patented designers that were used in NASA space shuttle flights, as well as authors of more than 100 scientific studies on space weather. This is all from me. For us is only a start, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, guys. Any questions from the judges panel? No questions? Seriously?
For me, is rather question, knowing the data and possibility to react, have you assessed what is the real value for somebody to use that data and to react fast? Because some of the industries which you say, I mean, if I know that something will be happening, I don't know, in a week, for me, it's a big question, am I capable to do anything with it? So knowing it, it's good, but if I cannot turn that data into the decision quite fast, then it does not give me any value. So have you thought about like 1 or 2 industry verticals and the first clients who would be ready to pay, and the use case that they could react quite fast, that based on your data, they could save some capital?
Thank you, Thomas, for a great question. Actually, yes, we did divide our business model into 2 parts. So that live data that you're talking about will be useful for government agencies or space agencies. It will not be applicable and useful for, let's say, energy companies or railway operators. For them, we have a specific tailored hazard warning system where, as we get access to their infrastructure, specific data, we will be able to specifically tell where the geomagnetic storm will hit, when it will hit, and how hard it will hit. So yes, the radiation alert notifications as the whole hazard warning system will be tailored specifically for those industry vertical needs.
Second question from Dunstan.
Yeah. So, what are the revenue models, and how would the company become profitable, or would it just be more of an R&D, selling data and such?
Great question. We get that a lot. Thank you very much. So space weather hasn't been commercialized before. We are the first company to enter that market privately and commercially. Before, it was mostly on the national level as well as space agency level. We are in talks with several insurance companies that are willing to use our data and beta test it. So probably the first revenue stream will be from there. And then we'll see how we can be useful to railway operators in Germany, like DB Netz, let's say. So yes, it's still a progress and it's a new niche for us to take. And we'll see where that's gonna go.
All right, next question, Coin.
The incident you raised was back in 1989. What is a more recent incident and impact?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, that incident was huge. It was the most severe space weather event. There have been more other cases, like the Halloween storms in 2003 that left 5 million people of Sweden and Denmark without electricity for 5 to 6 hours. And NASA lost its Seawind instrument, as well as Japan lost its also new environmental satellite that was worth, I think 600 million. There have been instances where entering a new solar cycle this year, and we'll see where that's going to bring us.
Sorry, guys, we have short time. Coin, can you start the pitch?
Yeah, okay. I'll be talking about quantum, which may not come as a surprise, or maybe it does. Yeah, so quantum computing has been until today been very heavily dominated by quantum physics people, and I'm not saying we don't need them, yeah, because we absolutely need the physics analysis and the results. But as I said, maybe also before, in classical computing, we had the birth of a transistor, which first was defined by an engineer in 1936. And it took the 80s until the 1980s before we had it at a very large scale. So it took 50 to 60 years before we reach a level, yeah, that is producible at a large scale. Now in quantum, we have a lot of different quantum technologies, semiconducting, superconducting, NV sensor diamonds. We had graphene, we have a lot of things, ion traps, there are a lot of things in the making. They're all competing with each other because they're all doing basically relatively good, but actually extremely bad work, yeah, to build the computational device. Yeah? So this has an immediate consequence that there's not enough emphasis on the development of quantum applications, like actually weather prediction and climate warming. Yeah, we heard that also earlier today. So everything is really everything is reduced to extremely small and relatively simple quantum circuits with an extremely low number of qubits. And so we have to move much more towards that is my main claim. We have to move towards perfect qubits that we can go maybe up to, let's say, 100 fully entangled ones. And I think one company which is doing extremely well is IBM, which has also made the perfect qubit as a compiler output in their Qiskit kind of platform. So that is basically my pitch.
Thank you, Coin. What are you asking for in terms of investment amount and all these things? Do you mind to elaborate on that? You still got another 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends really on what time horizon we're looking. If we're looking, let's say, for the next 2-3 years, then I'm looking. I'm asking for about let's say $1.5 million for that duration, because then I can take the people with me who have already a PhD or are very busy in a PhD. And then I think we need much larger scale investments, maybe around 10 to 20 million euros, yeah, for developing it, the worldwide technology, and to make it available for everybody who wants to move in that direction.
Any questions from the panel, judges? No? Okay, I think Coin, some of them didn't heard your presentation earlier on. So I think they are not quite familiar with QB. So you want to spend 1 minute to talk about QB? What is the main unique selling point of QB, and what problem does it solve in the quantum space?
So that is based again on my already close to 9 years of research in quantum computing. So we developed a full stack that you need to build a quantum computational device. I call it now a quantum accelerator. We know accelerators is pretty dominant in current day hardware. And so I do believe that we can put quantum accelerators in DNA centers, and such that companies can have access to it, or individuals or the medical world, to these kinds of devices in the DNA center. So that is basically the core message of or mission of QB, is actually to develop quantum accelerators. And we already showed in the past that we can easily go to, let's say, 2 different quantum technologies, SEMA and super, and they are quite different. That we can, and we're working on a third one, photonics. And so that is what we are capable of doing, but we don't go into the physics. Let me be very clear.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Sure.
Hi, thanks a lot. Very nice presentation. Would you please advise what range of algorithms your quantum solution can support? Can it be used, for instance, for number theory or something like that?
Well, we're currently working on quantum genomics, yeah, which is a huge, large-scale problem, because we're talking about the human genome. We cannot even do that right now because we need a lot of memory. So I'm talking about multi-millions of bytes. Yeah, so zettabyte is one of the terms that people use. So these are extremely big memory quantities that we need. And of course you need to parallelize your quantum circuit. So I'm currently working with the parallelization professor also here in Portugal, and I'm starting also to do the same thing in Leuven. And so yes, we can look at relatively big problems, but big is nothing compared to what many problems really we have. There we have huge, not big data, but huge data sets. So we're not there yet, yeah, but we are thinking about the algorithms, and so that can already be pretty big.
And excuse me, and how many qubits can you operate currently?
Well, we have done tests up till 65, yeah, perfect qubits, and we're now moving to, let's say, a larger set of computer systems, and we want to go as close to the 100 that we can, and that means in a fully entangled mode, that's 2 to the power 100. That is already a pretty big number, yeah. But these are just indications of what is possible. So if you ask me for a scientific proof, I said no, I'm not there yet. But we're very hard working towards the 100. But that will take me at least 2-3 years to reach that level.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, let's start with Dr. Lina. Dr. Lina Okajima from ALE, co-founder and CEO. Dr. Lina.
Let me share my presentation. Hi, I'm Lena. L is Japanese space tech companies, and we are now creating shooting stars. And we have 3 business activities. The first is shooting stars. We call these space entertainment sky canvas. We deliver shooting stars for entertainment and allows people's curiosity, and at the same time contribute to the scientific development. We also collect the atmospheric data. We use shooting stars. We observe shooting stars, and we put some device sensors to observe atmospheric data, whole data. So it's very useful for predict abnormal weather events and predict climate change. And we also care, we care Earth's environment, and at the same time we are focused on outer space environment. So now we are developing devices to prevent satellite becoming space debris. So we have these 3 business. So maybe many people are wondering how to create shooting stars. So we are creating build satellites, and these satellites contain small balls, small metal balls, many balls. So we launch this satellite and satellite orbiting around the Earth. Then satellite release the particles into the atmosphere. Then we can see these phenomena as shooting stars from the ground. We can see these phenomena on around 200 kilometer diameters. So we can have social distance, and our application could be this. We can share 200 kilometer diameters, and we can deliver our shooting star all over the world. So we can provide France, Hong Kong, Japan, United States, United Kingdom, everywhere. So this is our image. So now we have around 30 people, and we have many talented people with variety background. We featured many medias all over the world, and we also exhibit at the G20 Osaka Summit. It was held in 2019. And we are one of J startup company. It's certified by Japanese government. Now this is our achievement. Until now, we already developed and launched 2 satellites. And we successfully fundraised around $45 million US. We have bases Tokyo, Japan, and Toulouse, France. Our first shooting star could be delivered in mid-2023. So this is our vision, and why we started L is we want to make space closer for all of us together, and we want to contribute scientific development with using space entertainment such as shooting stars. So this is our vision and mission. So this is the last page. So we are now fundraising more, and we are seeking partner and potential client. We are selling shooting stars and our atmospheric data and devices for small satellites. So please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lina. Any questions from the panel?
How much do you charge for the shooting stars?
Oh, very, very good question. It's confidential, but around, is it public?
Yes, it's public.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll tell you in direct after this
You
event.
message Steve directly in the chat. Dunstan, your question?
Yeah. Okay. So how does this? So you are selling shooting stars. You are selling like devices that you shoot out from satellites, and also the satellites itself. Based on your current fundraising, yeah, and it's awesome that you've raised 45 million. But when do these break even? What's your break-even point by year, by which year, and including how much business development needs to be done before the company breaks even, and like, or even to be profitable?
It could be after 2023 because we will deliver our first shooting star in 2023. So after that, our profit and loss table is become plus. So this is a break-even point.
Oh, so
Okay.
by 2023, your break-even point starts, which means that you actually start breaking even at 2023.
Yes, 2023.
That also means that you are currently generating revenue right now.
Currently, revenue is very small revenue from government support, and so there's very few profit.
Okay,
However,
so which means that you're going to start ramping up all the way until 2023 to at least ramp up to $45 million worth of funding.
Your question is, so 45 million US dollar.
Okay, you've already fundraised 45 million, right? So what
Yes,
I'm trying to
totally.
figure out is based on your revenue models. If you tell Steve like how much one shooting star is worth and so on, my interest would be how long would it be before the investors actually break even and make a profit, like based on your company itself projections. Yeah.
So yeah, as I mentioned previous questions, this is we can't open our service charge. However, our break-even point is 2023, and before deliver shooting stars, we are discussing a potential client and discussing about prepay. Before paying, we are going to get pre-money before service for reservation fee or something.
Yeah.
I just have
So,
one other question, which is in an average year, 12 month, how many shooting stars can you fire out? Is it unlimited or is it like 3? I don't know.
For one satellite, we will contain 1,000 particles. And for one show, we can deliver 20 to 50 shooting stars. So if we will deliver 20 particles, 20 shooting stars for one show, we can deliver 50 times.
With one satellite.
For one satellite.
All right. I think for more detailed and tough questions, we need to contact Dr. Lina personally. We can do it later. All right. So we should move to the next picture, which is Felix from Grad4. Felix.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lina.
So I will share my screen. Great, so you should see my presentation. So hi everyone, my name is Felix. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Grad4. So I previously worked at Bombardier Aerospace, and I was in charge of what they call quality inspection requirement, and I had to work with a lot of different suppliers. And I discovered that it was a super complex industry, and that problem is spread all across Canada and all the manufacturing. So in the manufacturing industry, around 80% of the production is outsourced, but unfortunately, the subcontracting process haven't really evolved. So we still use email, telephone, and faxes. And that being said, it's a huge market. Just for Canada, the metal manufacturing industry is over $300 billion. And if we look at the niche market of custom metal production, it's still a $5 billion industry. And what is interesting about that market is that the demand is fragmented and the supply is fragmented. So it's really hard to have collaboration between those two parties, which make a great application for network enhancement and technology application. If we look at a buyer on a day-to-day, to find the right suppliers, they waste a lot of hours because of poor communication tools. Because of that, they work with short list of suppliers, and this doesn't lead to optimal condition. And also, they can manage a lot of parts at the same time, which can be really overwhelming. So what we did at Grad4 is we created an online platform that allows buyers to find, connect, and collaborate with suppliers for their custom metal part need. So they can save a lot of time with all the automation that we provide. They can increase their reach by accessing our network of qualified suppliers, and they can easily compare different options. So a buyer comes on the platform, upload his 3D model, and it's then sent to every capable supplier within our network. From there, interested suppliers will give prices and delays, and with that information, the buyer can select who they want to work with. So that now they can do in a few clicks what used to take them a few hours up to a few days. A good example is BRP, a public company here in Canada. So on their own, they were able to get bad quotes in 10 hours of work, and the price was around $71,000. With our solution, it took them 5 minutes, and they reached more suppliers, leading to optimal prices. So at the end of the day, they had a 99% time reduction and a 44% cost reduction for that production. And it's more than just a transactional tool, because we enhance the user experience with the AI module that we built. So there's a cost estimator on the buyer side that allows them to save time. Just after the design, they can already estimate what would be the price for a part. We have a manufacturability assessment based on a computer vision approach that analyzes the part and can detect problems beforehand. And finally, we have a recommender system that allows suppliers to bid on the best part and allow the buyer to find the right suppliers. So we create a frictionless revenue model. So for the buyers, it's free to use. There is no installation. They can test the platform the same day that they create their profile. And on the supplier side, it's a transaction fee for every contract that they get on the platform. And what is interesting here is that in this industry, the average commission fee for a seller internally is around 10%. So we're still on the lower end side. So we had a lot of success since we launched the platform this summer. We had a 20% month-over-month growth on the buyer side, as well as on the supplier side. This is due to the simplicity of the platform and the value created. An important metric for us is the value of the contract given on the platform. Same thing, we had a lot of growth in the previous month, and we went over $1 million in contract given. So we have the right team to do this, because Nicolas and myself experienced the problem firsthand by working in the manufacturing industry. And our CTO is a PhD candidate in artificial intelligence. So he's the one leveraging all the deep tech component. And finally, Karim, our chief product officer, built a platform with over millions of users. We built the right team to achieve that, leveraging all the non-dilutive fund here in Canada. And we just raised a $1.5 million seed round to expand our operation all across North America. And by closing that round, just within that time, we were able to already achieve the objective of the next 12 months. So we are already preparing the Series A, where we will raise a 5 to 7 million round to go internationally. Thank you.
Any question from the panel?
So what was those targets you reached quite fast?
I did not understand the question properly.
What was those targets? You was mentioning that you already reached them quite fast.
So previously we were averaging $100,000 of contract giving on the platform. By the end of the year, we needed to achieve $500,000, and we're already at $600,000. So we 6 times that growth. The main reason for that is because we locked in a partnership with ArcelorMittal, a 200,000 employee company, and they found a solution so useful that now they source everything through it. So just with them, it's a $20 million opportunity of transaction, which is around $2 million of revenue potential, just for them.
What prevents a customer from using you once to find the supplier and then for future ones circumvent you?
That's a great question. So what we had to do to avoid that is build a tool that is so more efficient than the current process that the buyer don't want to come across. And that's what we experienced with ArcelorMittal. So previously they worked with a network of 8 suppliers. With our platform, they have 200 suppliers, so it's always a better price. But handling 200 suppliers is super complex. And the company that we work with can have over 50 requests within a week. So using the previous system is it doesn't work and it takes too much time. So by going on the platform, they reduce the cost and they save time with the automation. So we locked in the buyer. They don't want to go to the old process, and by locking one side, the other one needs to go on the platform. Does that answer your question?
I have skepticism, but it's fine.
And it's something that we monitor closely. Of course, we need to create more value than what we charge to the users. At our stage, it worked pretty well. And we have an engaged community that give us feedback to make sure that we can keep them at the right balance between what we charge and the value that they get.
Just a follow-up to that, and you can share with, anyways, but what is the follow-through in terms of return customers on the same product? Do you have data on that? Because if that you have that, that validates your thesis.
Exactly. So the type of production that works really well for us is everything that is custom. So ArcelorMittal is an industrial company, and they have a lot of things that they need to manufacture for internal purpose. So it's always a new need. That's why an active network like ours gives so much value for them. And what we observe with ArcelorMittal is that they started with 4 requests in December. For January, it was 50 requests, and now they're at 100 requests per month. So their usage of the platform went through the roof, and now they're at full capacity. Everything is going through Grad4. This is our best case study, but we expect to do the same thing with our other users.
Any other questions from the guy? If not, we'll go to the next feature. Ivan Makarov, founder and CEO of Catalyst Aerospace Technologies. Ivan? You're muted, Ivan. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, can you hear me? Do you see my slides? Okay. I live in a rural area and I like it a lot. But still I want to be connected with a major city. And I don't want to spend 2 hours in a traffic instead of 20 minutes. And we live in the golden age of aviation. And because of the electrical propulsion aircrafts, my dream of affordable personal flying vehicle may come true, and it will not be helicopter, hopefully. For flying in a dense traffic, these flying vehicles need a robust autopiloting solution, which is very expensive in software development and certification. Hi, I'm Ivan. I'm a rocket scientist, and I collected a great team of personnel of the people with a huge experience in software architecture and hardware development. And we discovered the solution of creating autonomy and flight control embedded software stack in a 5-time more efficient way in integration and certification. Our customers use collaborative tool engineering collaborative online tool for system integration and adoption. And we use this app for our go-to-market strategy because we're able to serve the global market. This online tool also works like marketplace, where suppliers put their hardware and in the design space, and our users able to integrate with them. This market today is 1.7 billion USD, and it's supposed to in 10 years. Our advantage is that we use no-code design and implementation tool and use it like a growth hack. Our approach for is to reduce cost by 10 times to 5 times. Solution is able to be implemented on aircraft from 4 kilograms up to 4 tons. And it works like online assembly kit. You just design your system in a web browser. So its technology is already flying. Our customers able to use our hardware to prototype their flights and gain their requirements and experience. Our business model is subscription-based. And for today, we also sell hardware because our customers need to turnkey solution. And the next step would be we will either outsource hardware or license it to the customer. So we ask for $500,000 USD for speed up SaaS development. And I forget to mention that we generate revenue actually, and sustainable in our development and operations. This is my pitch. Thank you.
Questions, guys? Any questions from the panel?
Your last part, you said you're already generating revenue to cover your costs. Are you break even right now?
Yeah, we just scaled our team to be sustainable.
So what's your revenue right
now? It's not public information, but we are a team of the few people already. I can.
And what is your?
Personally.
And thank you for the pitch. What is your vision in 5 years? Whom you will become?
We will become the major provider for cargo air mobility vehicles and personal air mobility vehicles, and we will able to speed up their go-to certification way. And in these 5 years, we also will generalize our solution for aerospace system. We started.
But you provider of what? Of what in that whole value chain?
Hardware, software, and the next will be services on top of that, like a platform, fleet control, predictive maintenance. And,
do you think it's not too much for one startup to do everything?
We're not doing everything. You may see that in our approach, we leverage the whole industry to be able to integrate their solution, but we need to be the central one. The point from which is more efficient for the rest of the market to integrate around us. And we want to be in that position.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Is there any other questions from the panel? All right, if there's none, we'll move on to the next elevator pitch by Dr. Alex Ivanenko, the co-founder and CEO of HighPoint. Dr. Alex.
Hello, everybody. Let me share the screen. Can you see my screen? But I can't hear you. Okay.
Yes.
So no. Okay. Okay, let's go. So thank you very much for your time today. My name is Dr. Alex Ivanenko, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of HighPoint. We make zero-emission air transport possible. Today, approximately 10% of overall human climate impact comes from aviation, and by 2050, that is expected to grow to 25% of global greenhouse gas emissions. So you can't solve the problem of climate change without zero-emission air vehicles. But the arrival of this type of vehicles have been limited by energy limitation of lithium batteries. Usually, it takes 500 watt-hours per kilogram to fly a plane for 200 miles, but existing lithium batteries can only deliver 200. This is because air vehicles are more energy intensive than land vehicles like cars or heavy-duty trucks because they need additional power to lift off the ground and during the flight. At the same time, existing high-power fuel cell system have necessary level of energy density and they potentially could work, but they fall short on specific power requirements. So modern vehicles require not less than 1500 watts per kilogram, but existing fuel cells can only deliver 600. It means there is no power source which could meet requirements of air transportation market. And we solve this issue by building the next generation hydrogen fuel cell system with both high specific power and high energy density, exactly what aircraft designers are looking for. And our new product is directly disrupts $1.6 trillion aviation industry globally. And based on expert estimates, our technology unlocks $25 billion served available market by 2030 that will grow up to $300 billion by 2050. And this is not my fantasy, that's supported by our real traction. We right now have 2 payable customers in our portfolio with $2 million development agreements. And we have a lot of LOIs and we have a pre-order and all of this, all of that converted to a real, might be converted to real revenue. And we expect that in 5 years, we will achieve $500 million and $9 billion up to in 10 years. And all that is possible because of an exceptional team. For instance, my co-founder, Brian, he's the father of fuel cells, and he's an inventor of high temperature membrane, which is one of core technology for our system. My other co-founder, Sergey, he spent more than 15 years in global fuel cell research and development, and he was a member of group. He was a member of Ginsburg Group, who was a Nobel Prize physicist. Myself, I'm PhD in electrochemistry, but built my career in international business development at US corporations like 3M and Oscorning many years, where I have been taking projects from R&D stage to fully commercialization. Exactly what I'm doing right now at HighPoint. And we also have very strong advisory board. They support us during our journey and provide their knowledge and network in aviation, deep tech, and fuel cell development. So we are leading the way in global fuel cell research, and our team is able to address any complicated question and risk. And 2 major risks for us is technological risk and competition. But I hope you have already understood that we are no strangers to hydrogen fuel cell technology. We have already built and validated key parts of our product by developing the best in the class fuel cells for drones and robots. So that product provides us all necessary technologies and knowledge how to build next generation hydrogen fuel cell system specifically for air transportation needs. Let me briefly explain how that is possible to achieve so game-changing energy performance. First of all, we are using lightweight aluminum foil bipolar plates with highly conductive corrosion-resistant material, and that dramatically decrease weight of fuel cell stack. This is our own development, and this is our and secured by partners. We substitute low temperature fuel cell to high temperature and increase that allows us to dramatically increase efficiency of cooling. But the core innovation is the new system architecture, which we call turbo air cooled system that efficiently utilize compressed air for both cooling and oxygen supply. Simply put, we increase pressure inside the fuel cell, deliver more oxygen in the electrochemical reaction, and that allows us to dramatically increase power output. Our product addressed to different market segments, starting from logistic drones, air taxis, eVTOLs, and different types of passenger fixed wing planes. In December of last year, we achieved very important milestone for our company. We built fully operational prototype of the system, which we call the short stack. Why so important? Because there are a lot of technological and fundamental validations are concentrated at the short stack, at the prototype. After that, right now we are working on building full-scale system, which based on our agreement with our customers, we have to deliver in 2022 for the real flight. So we have technology, proven track record, and a team that has the potential to revolutionize the multi-billion-dollar aviation industry globally. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm ready to answer on your questions.
Question, guys? Want to go first?
This is Thomas. A quick question from me regarding IPR, protection patents around your technology, where you are with that. This is one. And yeah, let's just no about just where you stand with the patents.
So we secured provisional applications in last year in our in USPTO, and right now that's all provisional applications in January of this year were converted to PCT applications. So we are actively working with USPTO and few advisors who support us in our AP strategy.
Steve, you have a question then?
Yeah, excellent pitch. Really good. I just have one question, which is how does your unit cost compare apples to apples versus traditional solutions? Is it like, I mean, ballpark wise, is it 20% more expensive? Is it 200% more expensive? How does that change with scale? And yeah, that's it.
The main misunderstanding that we are not compared with existing fuel cells, because fundamentally existing fuel cells can be integrated in air transportation market because they require very heavy cooling system. So we addressed our unit economics to strategy to what existing customers right now have as a solution, like a combustion engine or lithium batteries. So, and based on our estimates, when we will scale after our manufacturer, we can achieve the price for 1 kilowatt between $100 and $500. So it's very competitive with existing power source on the market. High temp membrane, you should understand, an any fuel cell, it's organic chemistry. So when you increase manufacture of something organic, I mean organic membrane or based on organic chemistry, so the price really drops dramatically.
Yeah, that's why I asked my question related to scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
What's your ask?
So right now we just started our first price round in the company. So last week, we are looking for we are going to raise $5 million in equity. So we have right now $1 million, which is it's a solid confirmation from our existing investors and pro rata rights. So we have so the $2 million is allocated for new investors. It's 2 checks for $5.5 million and 1 check for $1 million. So, and we have spot right now for lead investor for $2 million. And we are actively working with venture funds in the Silicon Valley, in UK, also in Europe. So, and we are looking for really very powerful partner who will lead the round, because for us it's very important. It's not for us is a question that we will close the round. It will happen 100%. The main question right now is the quality of money and what this partner can bring on the table and how to can support us during our journey. Does it make sense, Steve?
Yeah. Who would be your partners? I mean, no, now who would be your customers? I mean, would it be Boeing or would it be American Airlines?
Not both these companies, actually. So Boeing, Airbus, they have just a projection and strategy. Hey guys, we would like to build by 2030. We would like to build fully hydrogen electric passenger aircraft. It's just an announcement. And right now they are teaming with and top tier aircraft component manufacturers are working on development. fuel cell engine, I would say, and we would like to become the the part of their supply chain. So we don't have direct connections with American Airlines, I would say, or Boeing, or Airbus. But of course, yes, but it's just a general explanation that what we are doing and etc. But our focus right now, we are teaming with these partners to validate our technology, small aircrafts from different market segments, eVTOLs, fixed plane. But of course, we address to a hugest market segment, right? So, but we can't. High Point, I hope it will happen, but it will be more and more smart, clever, smart strategy to work, cooperate with top tier aircraft guys and supply them fuel cell plus balance of plant. They will integrate in turbine, and the turbine will be supplied to Airbus directly. That idea.
Oh, good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for your questions.
Thank you very much for the questions, guys. Thank you very much, Alex. Let's move to the next and last elevator pitch by Clean Cell. Peter E. Brown, the founder and CEO. Peter.
Hey, thank you very much, you guys. Super interesting to be invited here and to have the ability to pitch. 1 second. So as you see, I'm not as young as all the other pitchers, so I've been around for a while. And maybe it's because I'm a rocket scientist that I am able to be present here. So I was working actually, Alex, thank you very much, interesting stuff, at Airbus many years back. And then I wanted to become an entrepreneur, and I did it a couple of times. And, after having done this and that and the other thing, and have been sitting on the investor front, I think we really need to do something for our planet. And there's more than just make money. It's important to make money. It's super important to have a very successfully commercial company, but also we're eating up our planet, and we're actually doing something wrong. So we came across an inventor of a battery product that is water activated. It's not as powerful as the fuel cell as we've seen, but we're talking about 90 billion of these household batteries that are built. And this is how they are built, and this is what they do to our environment. They're basically toxic time bombs ×4. And the whole thing starts off with the mining, and it's children working in cobalt mines. It's lithium that is being mined and destroys nature, and it goes on over manufacturing. And then when we use it, we always have a frustrating element, because either the battery is not working, or it's leaking, or it's destroying our devices. And then eventually when we dispose of it, it's killing our nature. So what can we do? It doesn't help us to have a little bit more energy here and there. We have to really look at the whole cyclic of the economy. And this is what this gentleman came up with. It's really something, and I don't want to go into the details of the technology here because of the lack of time. It's half the weight. It has infinite shelf life, basically, because it is activated. And only when activated, it delivers the full power. But when we started, look at this here, to look into the Clean Cell product range, into products that are suitable for, we heard about space weather in the very first pitch of Xenia, and what happens with all these power outages. So what do you do about it? You cannot wait until the grid comes back on, but you have to do something about it. And just now in the United States, with the problem of the hard winter, we had millions of households again being without power. And what people did is they sat in their cars, they idled the engine to start and charge their smartphones. And many of them died because of carbon monoxide poisoning. So when we started to acquire these technologies, 5 patent families with over 20 patents awarded in the US, in China, in Japan, and in Europe, we figured, okay, we have to build all of this around them. It's a funding engine. it's marketing, it's a lot of production and partners that we need to build up manufacturing sites. But of course, it's also a lot about the sales of the technology and supporting the stream of competences is everything around implementing personnel development, process optimization, and so on. Why would we do that only for one technology? This was the question we asked us, because we already spent a couple of millions to do that. So we really have to change the way how people look into that. So it's not just one David against Goliath story around the big companies that are out there and dominate the market and play their games, but we actually need to change the industry. And we cannot do that if we do it alone. We have to have a very successful partner strategy to be implemented. And what we started to do is to work with various research institutes, for example, Fraunhofer in Germany, Technical University of Delft in the Netherlands, Nanjing in China, and so on. And of course, Swiss-based technology centers like ETH in Zurich. And we said, hey, there's so many companies, like we have seen in this pitch, that are fantastic in developing technology, but they do not have a go-to-market strategy and an engine, so to say, that they can deploy their products into the market with limited risks, because they're very good at what they have been doing in creating technology, but they're maybe not so experienced in creating successful businesses. So what we call a plug and play strategy, plug with a CK, like we pluck them as ripe fruits, you see this apple here, is we want to help these companies in the field of energy storage technology to come to market quicker, to de-risk, and to be very successful. Now, we have to finance that, of course, and the reason why we want to do that is basically that we have built this engine and very successfully go-to-market things. So we have been raising quite successfully money over a couple of rounds in the last year. We only started this in 2019, as you know, Rico. We have now acquired this first and paid for this technology. But now we went to my friends at Nasdaq First North and basically said, guys, we have this roll-up strategy, and what can you help us to do? And they said, we are so excited by what you plan doing. We want to support you to get access to the capital markets, to help you fund all these startup for your portfolio of technologies. And this is what we're currently doing. So we're in a pre-IPO round right now, aiming at an IPO later this year, and have a couple of technology partners that want to provide us with these technology companies so they can focus on what they're good at, which is tech development, and we enable them to go to market successfully. So no ask right now, unless you want to join our journey, but we don't build unicorns, we build rhinos. Welcome to the Energy of Change, and happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Any questions from the panel? Any questions from your side, Julia? Steve?
Just congratulations. I can see the improvement in the business model and step changes. So good.
Thanks very much, Steve. It was, we really had to think about how to crack this, because the investment that you need to do to go to market with your own full-fledged production was really something.
Yeah.
And now elevating up the level and not try to pitch and to compete against the big companies that dominate the market, who are already in a price war for commodities, is really something. So to develop own solutions was definitely good. Thank you very much. Brilliant.
Vitaly? Vitaly, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah. Am I right that you have technology for manufacturing batteries, which is much cleaner than conventional one? Yeah.
That's correct.
And if so, is it possible to buy it elsewhere?
Not yet.
These batteries?
Yes, not yet. These batteries are patented, as I said, by big patents. There's no availability of these products as of now in the market. We will go to market with 2 products that will be powered by our own energy sources still this year. Currently, we're just doing customer research programs in the US for emergency situations like described before with the power outages, and for outdoor as a wearable device in the DACH region, so the German-speaking markets and Scandinavia. We will be selling these products later on in the summer Q3 of this year and deliver them out by the end of this year. But at the same time, as just mentioned, we're looking for such interesting companies as the fuel cell company, which was pitching before, for us to invest in such technologies. And we have a couple of very, very promising candidates that the research institutes we're partnering with already have in the pipeline for us. And it's all about scaling this pitch really, really quickly now.
So speaking about the batteries, so are you going to license the technology, or are you going to manufacture them yourself, or what is the way to the market?
Excellent question, Vitaly. And due to time constraints, this is not in the pitch, but we want to license the standard battery sizes to the existing players in the market because they can do this a lot more better than we do. Although there's part of the production is also something that we have under IP, and we have been developed for mass production with solid manufacturers. One of them is a company called Optima. They produce manufacturing devices for packaging, for example, to manufacture the Nespresso capsules. The speed is 1,500 of these capsules in 1 minute in one of their machines. So it's really mass production and high quality. And the other partner we're working is a company that does tableting, and our components need to be compressed after milling and granulating them for passive production. And this is also one of the leading companies in the world working for the pharmaceutical industry, but also household industry, and now manufacturing devices for battery. So those are pre-products that will then be assembled. So we will not just license the pure product design, but also the manufacturing technology for mass production to the battery manufacturers.
Can the technology find a way to, for instance, electric car industry?
No, not this chemistry. It would not be powerful enough, as we have seen in the fuel cell technology. So this is really purely for household batteries, comparable in the electrical density to what you know today. Electrical cars need at least lithium or upwards technology. We have technology under development. This is coming from the same inventor, which is our version 3 technology. It's currently being patented, so I cannot be specific, but the power density is very high, and also the activation and it's also rechargeable, which is not this technology, is feasible. So we have a pipeline of internal technology for various use cases, and we are acquiring external technology for different use cases that we qualify on the technology readiness levels with the help of these research institutes that are our partners.
Thank you.
Sure, pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the Deep Tech Ventures elevator pitch. And thank you very much. And look forward to see you in 1 minute. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll be in touch. If you guys are interested in some of the projects, the panelists, just let me know. And thank you for joining us, Julia, Vitaly, Thomas, Steve, And yeah, look forward to talk to you guys soon. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Lion.